I have more to say on it, but
Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We have a show full of the latest hot topics everyone's talking about. Of course, it's talking about the election. It's only 29 days away. So make sure you're registered to vote. I want to remind you all over social media, Facebook, X, IG. And please go to our YouTube channel, The Stephen Knight Show. Please subscribe, comment, and share. We definitely appreciate you. Let us know what you think about our topics. Again, make sure you register to vote. Go to vote.org to vote. And listen, there are several states that today is the last day to register. And those states are Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, Mississippi, Ohio, Tennessee, and Texas. So this is the last day to register. So make sure you go to vote.org and find out what your status is. If you are registered, you think you're registered, you haven't registered. And again, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. Again, it's from September 15th to October 15th. So shout out to our Hispanic brothers and sisters out there. All right, family, how y'all feeling today? Y'all doing good on this Monday?
yes.
A-okay.
That's good. Actually, I was telling y'all before we started, I had a really good Monday today. And Mondays are not my favorite days, but I had a really good Monday today. So maybe that's a good sign of the rest of the week ahead. But our
You
question
gotta tell what made it so good.
I don't know. I mean, I was busy, but it was just so productive. I did everything on time. Like it was just one of those days. Everything was just going right in terms of work. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Yeah. All right. Our question of the day is: would you prefer someone to be honest or tell you a little white lie to avoid hurting your feelings? Lanier.
You can tell me the truth.
You want to know the truth? Yeah.
Tell me the truth, because some people are good at keeping track of their lives, and some people are not. And I got a elephant's memory.
Right.
I will have an aha moment at some shit when I be like, "Wait a minute, that's not what you said on September 4th in 1998." So I like to dig in the crates.
Exactly. Exactly. What about you, Chike?
Hard cold truth all the time. Me and I was just talking about it, how some people like to live in a world with the rose-colored glasses. Take them suckers off. Give me the daylight, bright light.
Yeah. Yeah. Brittany, what about you?
I don't know. For me, it depends on the situation because while yes, I do want the truth because I'd rather find out from you than somebody else. But I do think sometimes people get the truth off of their chest to kind of like release their guilt. Like if they do something, it kind of gives them like a like some kind of release or whatever. And then for me, then you're telling me the truth out of selfish reasons, like to just make your conscience feel better and ruining my day. So I think it depends on the situation. If I'm happy not asking for information, don't give me information I don't need to know.
Right. And I think a lot of people think about like, well, not that you were talking about this, but some people think about relationship type things. But what if, like, for example, something small like, do you like this shirt? Like I have this shirt on. Do you like this shirt? Yeah, I like it. And you really don't. Or like when a guy or a woman asks her man, "Y'all look fat in this dress." We already know not to say yes. I mean, but y'all want the truth.
I'm gonna
I
say
believe in that wholeheartedly. Why lie?
why lie, and it also depends on your delivery. No one says you have to be nasty.
Right.
There's a way for you to say things, because sometimes the flip side to what Brittany just said, especially with women when they ask men questions. You ask the man a question, and sometimes women ask those questions and they want the man to answer how they want them to answer. So that's being selfish.
Yeah.
And you expect, so when somebody is honest and you feel like your feelings are hurt. If I look a mess and I'm going out with my girlfriends, I want my girlfriends to tell me.
Mhm.
Because if y'all don't tell me, most folks gonna be talking about me while I'm out. And I'm like, well, why my friends ain't saying nothing?
Right.
Oh, because y'all are part of the talking about me crew, like the other people that's out. So y'all snickering and giggling behind my back. If I don't look right, I would want somebody to tell me, like, you know, when my dude is like, and I asked him, I'm like, babe, look, do this look right? He would, the way that he says it to me, you know what I mean? Like, well, babe, maybe you should try this. He ain't like, well, nah, you look fat. Nah. It's like, well, you know what? I'm gonna try something else. And damn sure, you know, he was right. Thank you. I needed another eye because the way I'm looking at myself.
Yeah.
And then it's also too about the nature of the relationship. Like Lania and I have a relationship. If I came to her or she came to me, do I look well in this? Hell no. You look a mess. Change your clothes. We
Yeah.
have that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
But also too, in a relationship, a romantic relationship, I've seen all too many times where lies are told, little lies are told throughout time, and then all of a sudden somebody's not happy, and then you wonder where it came from. And it's
Mhm.
because you wanted to hear what you wanted to hear and you didn't want to hear the truth. The truth is always best.
Absolutely. All
And
right.
it's just,
Yeah.
I want to say, I think it's like, do I need to know? Because I definitely understand the relationship side and the truth side, but I do think that sometimes women with women volunteer information under the guise of I'm gonna tell you the truth, and it's just to be nasty. Like that's why I said sometimes you can keep the truth to yourself, and I don't need to know that information because you're doing it to be nasty or messy. So I think it's just I understand the relationship side and the lying side, but then everything don't need to come out your mouth. Like some things you can hold to yourself. Like,
I agree with you. I'm gonna push back on it just a little bit. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do agree with you. Some people are
cause some
nasty
women
with
can
it.
be nasty.
But even still, I want to know the truth because if it's something that's real, regardless of you being nasty or not, it's the truth. I need to know it. I
But
need to
also,
know it.
but also think also when it's unsolicited, I'll never forget, this was years ago, when I first moved here, my first job, and this girl says to me, I do not like that shirt. I said, well, don't buy it.
Yeah. Did I need to know that?
And I
Did
told
I
her,
need to know that?
I said, well, don't buy it.
That's a
That's
personal
different.
opinion about
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
that's way
But
different.
that's her
Yeah.
truth. She didn't like it.
But
Like,
she
that's
has nothing. But she's not. She doesn't know. First of all, she overstepped the boundary because she don't know him personally.
Right.
I feel like in the context in what the question was asked is
Mhm.
in regards to
Our
the
relationship. Yeah.
relationships that you have
Close person. Yeah.
with the people in your lives. Because at the end of the day, somebody out on the street, I can give two shits about what you're saying. You know what I
Right.
mean? But the people that are in our lives, whether it's romantic, platonic, or family,
Mhm.
those are the relationships that that we take heed to
Right.
and what they're saying. Now, what Brittany just said in regards to people being nasty, if you being nasty, I need to reevaluate you being around me because
Right.
that is an issue with people being nice, nasty, or they're just nasty. And
Mhm.
you learn, some people have learned everybody ain't your friend.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they will say, like she said, they will say things that means you got to really reevaluate that relationship with that person and look at their pathology throughout your relationship. Does that person always criticize you when you up here, but when you down here, oh, she good?
Mhm.
That's a problem.
steal your joy. Tell you the truth just to steal your joy.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, go on X and let us know, would you prefer someone to be honest or tell you a little white lie to avoid hurting your feelings? Stephen Knight Show, SHO. All right, well, a quick update on everything in the election. 29 days to election day, and there are a lot of states already voting. So make sure you can early vote. I did see something they were talking about in the news today, where some of these places that were hit by Hurricane Helene, how they're trying to make sure those people are still able to vote despite being displaced or whatever situation is. But former President Trump, he is expected. Well, he did have an anniversary. He commemorated the anniversary of October 7th terrorist attacks on Israel at an event this evening at his golf course in Miami. President Biden and VP Kamala Harris, they observed the anniversary with events at the White House and the Naval Observatory, respectfully. The Biden administration handling of its relations with Israel over the last year has been a delicate issue for Harris to navigate on the campaign trail. She has courted support from Muslim and Arab American leaders, even as she's faced widespread anger over the administration's support for Israel and its war against Hamas. and has devastated the Gaza Strip. A lot of people are saying, why we keep giving money to Israel for this war. Now, the Harris campaign did announce that she will be making a lot of appearances this week. Tomorrow she'll be on ABC's The View and the late night show with Stephen Colbert. She also will be on Howard Stern. They released a 60 Minutes interview tonight that for years they have asked both candidates in the major parties to do these interviews right before the election. And both parties had agreed to do the interviews. They're separate interviews, but they're intense. And Trump's campaign backed out of it last minute. But Harris did hers as well. And I forgot about this. The last time Trump did an interview with them, he cut the interview short because he thought the interviewer was asking nasty questions, as he says. But Harris also appeared on a podcast, a very popular podcast. It's like the second highest ranking podcast with over 10 million viewers and listeners over the weekend that did very well for her. And they said that the largest demographic for that podcast are white women 35 and younger for the most part. Of course,
18 to 35.
And they said that that was a good thing for her because she's trying to really win over the white woman vote because they typically vote Republican. But what are your thoughts? We are 29 days out, Lanier. What are your thoughts on what's going on? Because a lot of people are saying what's going on. You know, we had the strike, and luckily it only lasted about 2 days. But they thought that would impact the campaign as well as these storms because, you know, they've been lying about the FEMA response to the storms the Republican Party has, saying that FEMA doesn't have enough money, they're only giving families $750, which is not true, and that they're not showing up and they're only going to Democratic states, which all of is not true. The $750 is for the initial money so they can get essentials, find housing, things like that. But there's a lot more money, you know, that can go to the families as they need them. But what are your thoughts on everything going on, Lanier?
I mean, you just got to stay prayed up. Yes, the strike was short-lived after they found out where that union man lived and what kind of car he drove. Shut that down real quick. He done got all up on there. Oh yeah, they need money, sir. You in this estate with a pool and a Maybach,
right?
They should be mad at you. They should be mad at you. So in regards to the podcast interview, which was
Some daddy,
like Call Me Daddy or something.
Call me daddy.
Call her daddy.
Call her daddy.
Yeah, call her daddy. It was a good interview. The host of that show, she was fair in her questioning and she wasn't combative. She wasn't defensive. It is so refreshing to see when you have a conversation that you don't get that combativeness that is like the norm for certain journalists now. And they were actually able to have a real nice dialogue, and there was an amazing, reception to that. And I think it definitely did good for VP. And she is making her rounds the best way she can, having been fully thrown into this position. And Chike and I already talked about this in August.
Yeah.
Yes, you're constantly prepared, but you never know if that day is going to come the way that it did with this. And of course, the unfairness of how she's being treated is definitely something that ties into this. But she is on the move. She is everywhere and somewhere. Gov Waltz he's holding it down. He did real good on his Fox News interview.
Fox News over the weekend.
He did a great job on that interview and pushing back. Like I said, she at that particular news anchor who was just like really like she was combative and she was not really trying to hear what he was trying to say of the truth, but she just wanted to put the lie out there.
Right.
So those things are important. And I just need people to understand it takes a real amazing person to know what's going on in the world. And that orange man didn't even know what a Cat 5 was.
Right.
And And that is scary because Milton is touching down and Florida's probably going to get hit yet again with Milton being a Category 5 storm.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And if you don't even know what some of the simplest things, now you have meteorologists having to go on social media to say, oh my God, people can't control the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have meteorologists who are frustrated and they're having to go on social media to say people do not control the weather because blonde, built, bleach body people out here lying and drinking raw milk. Like, what do?
Mm-hmm.
You say prayed up, you go out and vote. I got my ballot. It's a mail-in ballot, filling it out, and I'm dropping it off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what me and all the parents is doing. That's
exactly.
how I don't want to have no issues after that man has said what he said, and then talking about something, well, you going to do this, then you need to hurt people that vote for Kamala.
Right.
It's dangerous rhetoric.
Yeah. And Chike, FEMA, the officials at FEMA had to come out and say that what Trump is saying essentially is wrong. They're helping everyone. They've been on the ground since day one. People are volunteering, leaving their families to go out to these dangerous zones, and they do have the money. And a bunch of Republicans voted against getting additional money to give to the people that need it. What are your thoughts on where we are at this point in the election?
As you can see, no one came out anywhere and threw paper towels at anyone.
Right.
No one had paper towels thrown at them.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with Linnea about the Call Her Daddy interview. It was good. At this point, I'm a little exhausted to tell you the truth, because what more do you need to know about this woman? I feel like I know her whole life. I feel like she's gonna do the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will push back and say I think that maybe she may need to be in more of those combative interviews to shut them up and to stomp all those lies in the mouth. She says we fight, we win. Well, every time that there's a lie, bop, there's the truth. Every time you lie again, bop, here's the truth. And start fact checking people in their face. When these reporters come at you and they come at you sideways, you bop, this is the truth. How good of a reporter are you if you don't know the facts? Or if you're spitting ill facts? What about your network? What is your agenda? I would call them back on that, right back in their face. What kind of operation are you running here? What is your agenda? That you don't know the full scope of things, but I'm going to tell you how it is in your face. I prefer that approach, because there's still people out here that are questioning things, and people are being so polite and not to be combative. I think that they need to be combated back, simply because that's their approach. And you don't need to meet them on their level, but you need to check every lie that they put out there in real time.
Yeah. And Brittany, they were saying that a podcast is a good situation for her to be on, because people listen to podcasts going to work. They listen to them while they're working, as opposed to sitting at TV. Everyone can't sit around the TV all day long and watch the coverage. But people listen to a podcast, they can learn more about her just on a personal level. At this point, because some people still say they don't know much about her. They know some of her policies. They don't know much about her. But having these, they say that she shines in these like one-on-one conversations with podcasters, and she's been on other podcasts as well. Tim Wall's gonna be on some as well. What do you think?
I agree. I think possible. So I do agree with them on that. And this is what I was saying in when we had our earlier podcast about not hearing as much from Joe Biden until like right before the presidential debate. I think that gone are the days where they just go to office and go to work. They are going to have to come out and engage and do podcasts, do different media platforms, find ways to reach people, especially in the younger generations that are now coming of age to vote, because that is how they are learning the information. That is how they're not just sitting in the house watching CNN all day. They
Right.
are on their phone looking on Instagram or looking at clips instead of actual news, settings and stuff like that. So I can appreciate, you know, Madam Vice President doing that for us and even Governor Walz, so that way people can get as much information as possible on as many platforms as possible. And this is what I was asking for from Biden, because I just felt like I did not like hearing a lot of the younger kids be like they don't really know enough information on what they're voting for. So I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
You
If
know
you
what kind
remember,
of forum I'm praying for that I would like to see? Preferably in Pennsylvania, I would like to see a mixed town hall with both of them answering questions from everybody in the town hall. That's what I
He's
would
not.
like to see.
Trump ain't gonna
He
do
ain't
that.
doing it.
He wouldn't do it. Mm-mm.
This is. I think this is the first time ever where you have a presidential candidate who is just opting out of not really participating fully, running in this position. I think this
Mhm.
is the first time ever.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's kind of like he's, throwing his nose up like, huh, whatever. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And is that the type of person that you want at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Because his plan is to hope on the after the election that is so close that he can question everything like before and throw
Right.
salt in the game and mix everything up.
And
That's what he's hoping for.
he's already laying the groundwork for that by saying it's
Yep.
rigged already and things like that, which he always
Yep.
does.
Which is crazy. Like, it's rigged, but you still running. So why
Right.
are you running for something that's rigged? Oh, because you rigged it.
Right.
Oh, one of your people just went to jail. Going to jail, isn't she?
Mhm.
9 years, Miss
Yep.
Miss
9 years.
9 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
and a certain man don't have his law license no more. His daughter don't like him.
Mhm.
His
She
daughter
endorsed Rudy
she endorsed
Giuliani's.
Kamala.
Yeah, sure did. His daughter. All right. Well, make sure you're registered to vote. This is the last day for many states, so make sure you're registered. Switching gears, Janice Combs, Diddy's mom, she has come forward to express her thoughts regarding the serious allegations against her son. Now, as we know, the 54-year-old music executive is facing several charges, including sex trafficking, racketeering, and facilitating transportation of prostitution. At present, he remains in custody as he awaits upcoming trial. Now, his mother, she released a statement through her attorney, and pretty much she was saying that this is hard for her to watch the public lynching of her son, that she's not saying he's perfect, and he may have not always been honest with everything. She cites the video of Cassie where she said that where he denied ever attacking her, and then the video was released. But she said just because that he may have done that doesn't mean that he is guilty of all these other things that are people are saying against him. And she's saying that she hoped that she's allowed to see when he has his day in court to tell his side of the story. And she urges all of his colleagues and fans, etc., to don't be so quick to judge, and to essentially wait till you hear his story, and that she show he'll be truly vindicated. Obviously, that's his mom. Is this surprising? Brittany, what are your thoughts?
So, I mean, I'm the first one that knows that, a mom can be a big enabler. I get that. But I do think that he is due his justice to have his day in court, and he is innocent until proven guilty. I think that just because somebody has some flaws, don't mean that they're guilty of everything they're throwing at them. I do think Jacob York, he's a manager. I've heard some celebrities or something, and he definitely made a statement on his Instagram where he was like, Diddy's parties were infamous for Diddy's parties. Does not mean it's the same thing as his freak offs. People are tying photos to Diddy just because if you were linked in a photo, you were at the freak off. They just throwing everything. They're throwing Kim Porter's death on him. And I think at the end of the day, this is somebody's son, father. He is still a human being. And I do think that people are so quick to just throw judgment on him that they aren't mindful of the fact that I just don't get why society likes seeing people fall. Like it's like an addiction like that they have. And I completely understand that he might have done some of the things. I don't see any joy in watching this man's downfall. And so I hope that, he suffers whatever consequences gets for whatever actions he did do, and that he does get an opportunity to clear his name for what he didn't do.
Mhm. Linnea, what are your thoughts on his mother, your mother as well, coming out in support of her son?
I mean, that's his mom. You know what I mean? Like she's going to state whatever her position is for her son.
Yeah.
And she's entitled to do that. So you can't fault her for that. Whatever, we like to believe that it's innocent until proven guilty. But as we know, with the incorporation of social media, especially when it comes to Black men, you've already been condemned. Point blank, period. It don't matter if everything could come out that it was a complete lie and everybody lied and fabricated on this man.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna care. They're just gonna be stuck on the headlines that were put out there to besmirch your name, and that's it. Yeah, I mean, he can have his day in court. That's gonna happen, but at this particular juncture, will he be able to come back from this? I don't know. But I would like to say this. Everybody that I know has always called Hollywood Hollyweird.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff happens out there.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how before Diddy, just based off of the age bracket that I'm in, it was Hugh Hefner.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't nothing salacious going on there. Y'all know
Because Vegas is legal. Is that true? What about that, Linnea? The state he was in is legal to do
Hugh
that.
Hefner was in California.
Okay, I thought he was in Vegas. I heard that
No.
they said because Hefner was in Vegas, it was legal.
No, he was in California. So there's two things. There's the Hugh Hefner ranch that was in California. There was the Bunny Ranch, but I don't think that he owned the Bunny Ranch that was in Vegas, because Vegas has a whole different set of rules.
Right.
And let's be clear, the Playboy Club started in New York City.
Yeah, the Playboy Club started in New York. But I think the Bunny Ranch in Vegas was owned by somebody else. I don't quote me.
Mm-hmm.
But the Hefner mansion was actually in LA.
Yeah.
I agree with Linnea. I do think, why is it that Hugh Hefner got to do these things? And some people push back saying it was the states he was operating in that allowed him to do the activities he was doing at the mansion or wherever he was.
Chike, what are your thoughts on all this?
So money and power allow for those gentlemen to do the things that they did. And I am a little angry at Sean Combs. I'm angry at him for being a Black man and putting himself in a vulnerable lane.
Yeah.
I was raised on a Black tax. My dad always told me we had to be 120 to 200% better than your counterparts. He should have known this.
Mm-hmm.
His mom's making statements, make him a meal so he'll start eating so he can live.
Right, yeah. And there's so much that, I mean, every day it's a new story. It's a new story, a new accusation.
To be honest, it's sickening, Stephen. It's sickening.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing it.
So it will be, I can't wait for him to get his day in court, and I want the truth to come out, and so that if he did do these things, he's punished accordingly. If he didn't, his name will be cleared. But we'll see what happens. All right, we'll take a quick break, come back, find out the latest on Coachella, and Method Man's opened up about his long life battle with depression. Right back after this.